Hi, so till now we have completed tutorials related to solids, many features and many things. Now today in this tutorial I'll be directly starting a new topic which is surfaces. So for that we'll open a new part, okay, and you know like there are many main topics, out of which surfaces is the main topic. This is the surfaces which you can find in features, sketch, surface. If you don't find it, just right click over here anywhere and you can find features, sketch, surface, sheet metal, weldments, mold tools, data editing menu. If you click left click, you won't find surfaces over here, but if you right click and then you can find surfaces. You can also drag this tool, as I told you earlier, over here somewhere in the command manager, but I generally want it over here. Okay, so now what are the surfaces, what to do with the surfaces, what is the difference between solid and surfaces, everything I will let you know. So what I say initially here is surfaces are nowhere different from solids. First thing, the features used in surfaces, these are the features. They are nowhere different from solids. Only thing is solids have thickness, surface don't have any thickness. And finally you will convert these surfaces into solids. So finally the outputs or the CAD files will always be in solid. To make the output or to undergo manufacturing, to undergo production, it will always be in solids. So why surfaces are used? Surfaces are used in order to create some curvatures, a good amount of curvatures, different kind of surfaces, which is not possible in solids. That's the reason why we use surfaces. So let us start making surfaces with the first feature, which is known as extrude surface. So front, normal, and then let us say I go to sketch. This is very much normal. As I make solids, I make surfaces. So for example, let us say I'm drawing a curvature. Okay, this is my curvature and spline. Okay, and then I'll directly go to surfaces and then I'll extrude it. Now as in case of solids, what we did is, like, we go to sketch, we make some rectangles or circles, and then directly go to features and then extrude it. We extrude the geometrical shapes which are available here, but we never extruded any lines. But here I am extruding a spline. A spline is nothing but a line. So here I will go to surface and then I will directly extrude. Now it shows me how far to extrude it. As you know, these are the options: blind, up to vertex, surface and all. I will increase the thickness. As you know, I can also increase it from here, this much. Okay, this is how I have extruded my surface. So the only thing remember in mind is this has no thickness. This is zero thickness, but any kind of curvature, shapes, anything you can do, that is I have extruded. Now let's see what can be done. We'll go to we'll delete this surface and then we'll directly go to this sketch. We'll make it normal. Okay, and then after making it normal, I will add a center line like this. Okay, and then after a center line, I will use a second option in the surface, is Revolt Surface, which is very much again same as the Revolt boss base. Only thing is you need to add a center line in both the cases. So okay, let us start doing this. Revolt Surface, done. Everything is done automatically. Line 1 is the axis of the revolution which I made right now, and this is my profile and it takes the shape now. make it okay and check. Okay, it's a kind of lid, a top lid of a dustbin bucket I have made. Such kind of various shapes you can make. You can make a lamp, you can make almost anything. So here this is again surface. Okay, so such kind of shapes you can. Now I have told you about two features. Now let's see about the third one, which is swept surface. Swept surface is really, according to me, difficult, but let's try. Here delete this thing, yes, and let's say delete this sketch also. So now go to the front plane and let us start making a rectangle, but I will make a rectangle from the origin. Keep in mind, when you always make a sweep, whether it's a surface sweep or a solid sweep, just make it from the this origin, whether it's a rectangle, triangle, anything. Okay, this is very important, very important. If you don't get origin over here, then you can get it from view and then origins. This is my origin. Now click here, I will get the origins back. Again I will go to view, selected, unselected. Again I will select it because I need origins. Okay, and then after making this, you can, this is the top plane, this is the right plane, this is the top plane. So in the right plane I'll make something. Okay, this is my right plane. I'll make normal, and I can draw 3D sketch or anything. I'll get this point and then I'll start making some basic shapes and spline. I will check it first. Yes, it is done. Many a times what happens, if you don't select it properly, this creates a problem, lots and lots of problem. Okay, the problem is this spline or a line will remain in the same plane. So for this thing is you make from the origin first thing, and second thing is you select the right plane after making a top front plane. Okay, I made this in right plane. This is a 3D sketch. So this is done, reverse, back. So now you can see two sketches, one sketch and two sketch. Always there should be two sketches, keep in mind. This option is really trouble giving operation, or troublesome operation, or a troublesome feature in the Solidworks, because it gives variable results every time, and most of the time it gives errors. So very clear in mind, the diagram should be from the origin, first point. Second point, select, after selecting the front planes, make this spline or make this line in the right plane. This is the second point. And third point is there should always be two sketches. There should not be one complete sketch. This is one sketch and this is two sketches. These are the three important points, keep in mind. And then start sweeping. Surfaces, sweep. This is the first profile and this is the second profile. Look, I know it will create error, but because of the surface, this will create error. Look, now what to do in this case? In this case, click this point and then edit sketch, make it very small, this small. Okay, back. Now let's try sweep. This is one, this is two, done. Now it is done. Okay, again it is creating problem because this section over here is very thin. So I feel this might be the reason, or the curvature might be the reason. Close it, and I will sell this time I will work with the curvature. This is a very high end curvature, so lower it a little bit. Okay, and then let's again try with back. Options activated. This is the one, This will be the second, and okay, done. This time it's done. Again, you need to play with the option as I told you earlier. So this is how the sweep option is successful in this case, and it's almost, not almost, it is 100% similar to the earlier sweep, the solid sweep, which is in features Swift boss base, very similar, almost similar. Now the only thing is, like, this has no thickness, this is only a shape, this has no thickness. You need to add thickness. That's alright, we can add thickness onto this surface. What we can do is, in this surface is, like, this is an open surface, so I will fill this surface. How to fill this surface? Using the command filled surface. I want to close this thing, so I will use a filled surface, and I will close this thing with the help of filled. So I can select 1, 2, 3, 4. I selected 4 things. Look, now it shows grid lines. So grid lines are like preview mesh. So this is the mesh. So when you click here, it won't show any mesh, but it shows like optimize surface, show preview, apply to all edges. These are the different options. This is in contact, tangent, curvature. Here what I will be doing is, when I preview mesh, I can see the mesh. And what is the reverse mesh? This is reverse. I don't want to use this. I don't want preview mesh, I just want to fill it. Okay, done. My filling over here is done. Look, and it is open from one end. Okay, this is open from one end. Now let's say I want to use some fillet over here, so let us try fillet. I want to click here, but look, can you see something? When I'm clicking here, nothing is coming. No, there is no preview. I'm clicking on the surface, nothing is happening. Look, I'm able to click this surface, but I don't want fillet on the edges. I want fillet here. So nothing is happening. Why it is nothing happening? Although this looks as the surfaces are joined, but this is not joined. So here what you need to do in surfaces, there is option. Like whenever you fill the surfaces, it shows it is joined, but when you go closely, still it shows it's joined. But just because it is not a solid surface, it's not a solid anymore, it's just a surface, you need to join these two surfaces. And how will you join these two surfaces, these two surface, and the rest two surface? By option called net. So this is the net surface. Now click on the net surface. What you need to do is click here, and let's say click here. Look, everything is selected. Click anywhere on this surface, okay, and here. So everything is selected. Now you can say merge entities. I say okay. So the knitting is done. When this is done, now let's see whether I'm able to do fillet or not. Look, I am able to. As you can see from here, I'm able to do fillet over here, and no, because these are joined now. I'll make it sorry, I'll make it okay. But the thing is, the other two options, the other four options are very similar. Constant radius, variable radius, face fillet, which I'm not going to explain here because I have already explained in fillet expert. Everything I've explained it properly. So this is just to show how my fillet working. Fillet expert, and then click here. Definitely this option will also work, don't worry. But face fillet, full round fillet, constant radius, Okay, make it okay. Look how it looks now. Even if it looks that I have applied fillet, that's okay, but the thing is, this is still a surface. Keep in mind, this is still a surface. Okay, so now I have explained 1 2 3, yeah, 3 knit 4 and fifth filled surface. So what if I want to close this thing also? Again I will use face fillet. Okay, sorry, not face fillet, I will fill this surface. So by filling is 1 2 3 and 4. Okay, now as this fillet is done, now I will use the option called freeform over here. So this is a freeform, and this is nothing but the same as the dome feature, the advanced dome, and the freeform which we use in solids. Everything is same. We are going to select this thing. It shows the mesh, and look, continuity and contact, tangent, curvature, everything is same. And if you want to add curves, here you can add curves 1 and 2. Okay, again click on the add curves and you will get this turns orange. Look, there are 2 points over here. Again it changes. Here you can manipulate it like this. You click over here, it goes inside, it comes outside. If you want to add points, then you can add a point over here. Yeah, you can add different points and then vary according to the size you require. And this is the mesh preview. I'm closing the mesh preview. I can also see the zebra, so I will come to know where are the made curvatures, where are the less curvatures. And then curvature combs, these are the curvature combs which shows when you zoom in what is the uniformity between the curves. And here there are more number of curves, there is less curves, there are no curves, it's almost straight over here, flat. In this region you need to understand how the curvature combs are working. In this region it's almost flat. This is on the negative side, this is on the positive side, and it shows the uniformity of the curvature combs. And also it shows the scale. So scale is like, look how big or small the curvature combs are. You can make it, again I'm making it small. So like this, they can increase it or decrease. It depends like how you want. This is a density. Look closely how much density you want. This is like, I'm increasing the density, again I'm decreasing the density. Yeah, so it depends on you how much you require. So in short, this is nothing but a dome feature. When I make it okay, I can see some variations over here, which is what I call as dome, and it is freeform feature. Now these two are remaining. Okay, and for this thing, like the boundary and the lofted, what are the differences between a loft and a boundary? I'll explain you. So first I can start with the boundary and then I'll go to the loft. Okay, so I'll close this thing. Don't save. Again I'll make a new thing and then I'll make the front plane. Okay, and in the front plane, let's say I'll sketch something, and I'll sketch a circle from the origin. That's fine. And I'll make, let's say, features, reference geometry. I'll come out and then plane. Sorry, with respect to the front plane, then plane. I want it 100 millimeters apart. The plane is made, yeah, and on this plane, let us say, I'll make a square. That's alright. And back. Now here I'll make a loft, but not exactly the loft. I'll make a boundary surface. When you go to boundary surface, you will find the direction 1. So this is my direction 1, and again I will click here. I won't click here and then this, as in case of loft. I have clicked one click and second click in the same box. This is my second click. Look, now when I clicked here, I can see something. Now what can I see is I made a loft. Okay, consider this is a loft. So I made a loft, and you can see 3 curvature combs over here. So when you zoom in, yes, these are 3 curvature combs. Here you can see why 3 curvature combs are used, because it shows from which curvature combs the profile is actually changing. So here it is circle, here it is somewhat circle and somewhat square, and here it is changing to square. And as you can see, this is equidistance from each other. The distance is almost the same of all. In boundary, you can see the profiles and the guide curves. Yeah, there are some profiles, there are some guide curves. This linings, which you can see, are called as profile curves. Okay, because it follows a profile, and there are no guide curves over here. But as in case of loft, there will be profile curves and guide curves, both the things. Here what you can see is the green mark. This is the green mark, this is a green mark. It is generally used for twisting purpose. So what if I change my green mark? Here first of all, I'll make it okay. When I make it okay, I can see a glass like thing. Okay, but when I again edit the feature and then I use this green mark to twist it, it will definitely twist my object. Okay, see, it is twisting my object. Well, this is same with loft and boundary both. Again, I don't want this twist, so I will remove this thing. Again, I will move it to normal original position, which is this. Yeah, is this the normal one? Let us check. There is a little bit of twisting. Yes, now it is almost straight. So now again going to boundary, and now what I will do is, like as you can see down, when you click here, the curvature combs go away. That's fine, but for now time being, keep this on. And now what you can do is, a good option in boundary which you don't get in loft, is the manipulation. Now what kind of manipulation you get in boundary surface? The manipulation you get is, this is sketch 1, which is blue color, this is sketch 2, which is the square. First I will select the circle. In circle, when you come down here, you can see none. When you come down and see normal to profile, wow, what is normal to profile? Look, something has changed. Now what these things have changed? Look, The blue color things are the profile curves. These are known as profile curves. These are green color are curvature combs. Okay, now look from the top view how the profile curve looks. The profile is completely changed when I selected this normal to profile. When it was none, you cannot see any profile curves. Yes, there are definitely blue color lines, but they are not extremely blue. So when I make profile normal to profile, which means the area which is very close to the circle tends to be normal to this profile, to this circular profile, and then later on it moves down. So like as you can see this kind of shape, the area, this is the area which is very close, tends to remain straight and then it turns. So this is the funda. What if I make it none, and then I will select the sketch 2, and in sketch 2 I'm doing the same thing. I'll make it normal. When I make it normal, look what happens is the same thing is happening. As you can see, the surface which is very close to this square tends to normal and then it changes its shape. Look, now you can see the profile curves, where are the profile curves passing, and here it is more and it is less, and how it is affecting. So this is how this profile curves are changing. Now again what you can do over here is like there is something this. Now when you increase it, look, what is happening, the complete shape is changing. Look, which means this curvature combs are moving upper. When it moves upper, this remains straight, this remains straight. So look, when I make it 2 or when I make it 2.5, look, this remains straight and this moves up. When it moves up, it changes its shape. When I make it 2, it moves down. Okay, and the shape, the final shape changes. When I make it okay, look, this remains straight. This is a kind of manipulation. Again edit. Now on the opposite side, let's say this was normal, I'll make it none, and here I will make it normal to profile. Okay, and then I will start moving it below. This is 1. When I increase it, look, now again it is going below. This is going below, and I'll make it okay. Look how the shape of the glass is changing. This is the kind of glass which I made, and I can fill this in order to get a good feel that this is the glass. So this would be my 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now this looks like a glass. I will hide this plane. Yeah, so now it looks like a glass. That's alright, but again this is the boundary surface edit feature. When you go and edit the feature, so this is how you can increase or decrease this length, and again you can see the mesh, the density of the mesh which you can decrease. Yes, and the curvature comb scale, density and everything, very similar options as you have seen. This is normal to profile or direction to vector. Now what is a direction to the vector? Direction to the vector means there is an axis, and through that axis that acts as a vector, and then you can manipulate things. So that is the thing. So this was about boundary surface, and again as you can see, the difference between boundary surface and loft is, in boundary surface what you saw right now about the manipulation is not found out in lofted. Loft is very simple. Okay, here we have profile curves and the guides, the same thing which we have there, but here we have direction 1 and direction 2 instead of profile curves and guides. But there we have profile curves and guides. So here you can see there are no profile curves and guides, but it's actually one and the same. Here it's written direction 1, direction 2. So the main difference between boundary surface and lofted is more amount of manipulation is possible in boundary surface, and that is not possible in lofted surface. But in lofted surface there is one thing which is not in boundary surface, and that thing is called center line sweep, which you don't find here. Centerline sweep. So we'll close this thing. Okay, and now we'll use the loft surface and we'll see how the centerline sweep works in loft surface. So for that we'll close this thing. Okay, and then again I will open a new part, and then front plane normal. What I will do is I will, let's say, sketch something, and first of all I will view the origins. Somehow I don't need over here, but still sketch, and I will make a spline or something. Okay, I made this thing back, and let's say I want to do something. So what to do is directly I will go to say surfaces and then lofted surfaces. In lofted surfaces, but before starting anything I will close this thing. This is the front plane, this is the right plane. Okay, this is my right plane, and then sketch. I want to do some 3D sketch from anywhere. This is my origin, so I will start from the origin itself. Okay, end spline, and over here in the end, this is my back button. I click here. Okay, a dot has appeared, and then features, reference geometry, plane. Okay, this is my plane. Okay, this shows rebuild warnings, that's okay. Second reference, use this line. This is my plane, that's okay. Now both these planes are not parallel because this was just a point, and from this point a plane is made, so this is never parallel. Okay, and now let's say I will draw again something on this sketch. On this plane is, I don't know what I'm drawing, but I'm just drawing to in order to connect to make the loft. Now surface is loft surface. In loft surface, as you can see, profile and guide curves, but in boundary it was direction 1, direction 2, both are same. So now the profiles are, this is my one profile, this is my second profile. Now it is directly connected, both my profiles. Okay, but these are my profiles, and when I select this as a guide curve over here, this acts as a guide curve. But since this is from the center, this won't work. Let us try. When I select this, look, it shows rebuild errors. Yes, because this is from the center. When you make a sweep, you should touch it from the edges. Okay, even if you make a loft, a normal loft, it should touch from the edges. If you want this as a guide curve, then it should touch the edges. But if I want a center line sweep, so for that I will delete this sketch, delete, and then centerline parameters. When you come to centerline parameters and click this, it takes this shape, and when I make it okay, there are some errors. I need to check what are the errors. Look, this is my, it shows red over here, green over here, that's okay. We need to check what has happened, whether it is touching anything. See, this curve is very high, so first of all we'll close this thing and we'll work on the curve. We'll try to reduce this section, edit, yeah, Yeah, okay, back. And now this is my second sketch, this is my 3 sketches. Okay, now loft and one surface, second surface in centerline parameters. This is my, again I think there will be problem, there is some problem, so need to rectify the problem. What is the actual problem? Very clearly it shows that here guide goes should touch the edges, look on the logos, and centerline parameters, it should touch the centers. So now here what you can see, there is a twist, so because of that twist it's not working. What I believe is you need to remove this twist. For removing this twist, you bring this over here, and now it seems that the loft is quite straight. And then in centerline parameters, when you open this thing, this is the guide curves, these are the centerline, and then when you select this thing, it should take the shape. If it is not taking the shape, which means there is some problem. Again remodifying, here what you can see is this thing should be very straight and simple. Here click here, delete this. We are working on this in order to solve the issue. Okay, close the surface loft and again try to make the sketch very straight. This is the final try and the final option we are doing. This is much straight. Okay, and then still that's fine. Back. This is 1, this becomes 2, this is quite, no, this is not straight, so here it should be like this. Okay, close, and now centerline parameters, and you can see this curve. Click here. Yes, now it has changed the shape, which means we are done. Okay, look, from the centerline parameters this is done. Now again the sweep and the centerline parameter, what is the difference? First difference is in sweep you touch the edges, the curve, the guide curve, this is the guide curve, touches on the sides, but here also you can touch on the center. And for example, let us assume imaginary, there is a line, there is a curve which is passing from the center, so the sides, both the sides almost remain the same. Look, even here it is almost very much similar, but is as in case of other sweeps, sometimes it is very narrow, sometimes it is broad, so there is a variations you can see. But here look, it is almost straight. So this thing really happens when you work with this surface loft. So this was the difference between loft and boundary. Now we have completed all this left features and the net surface feature and the fillet feature. Now these 3 features are remaining. Okay, and let's say okay, let's close this thing. We won't save this thing, we'll again open this new thing, and then we'll start with these 3 features, which is for what we make front plane, and then sketch, and let's say we'll make something, let's say we'll make, close this thing. I think we need to make some box or something. We'll delete this sketch, delete, yes. In the front plane I'll make a simple box, nothing much complicated. Okay, and here I want to use 3-point arc, 1, 2, and this. Okay, back. Now what if I want to extrude this thing? When I extrude the line, it gets extruded from all the sides. It will get extruded, but I'm not using the option extrude. I will use the option planar surface. What if I'll do the planar surface and I will click this side? Okay, look, my surface is ready. This is very much different from the extrude surface. Extrude was only on the sides, not on the center. And this is not the fill surface, because for the fill surface you need to select the edges. This is a planar surface. Difference between the fill and the planar. Fill can be used to select between all these edges. We select the edges and then we get a fill surface, but this is a planar surface which is made by sketch. And a fill surface can be wavy, curvatures, anything, but planar surface, which means it's always flat, planar. Now when this is done, what you can do is you can directly go to the rule surface option. Okay, when you go to rule surface option, there are quite a few things in rule: tangent to surface, normal to surface, taper to vector, perpendicular vector. So everything related to vector is through the axis, so we are not going to use it right now. We'll use tangent to surface. When I click here, look what happens is, tangent. What is a tangent? There's a circle and the line passes on the edge is known as tangent, but this is tangent to surface. So this is a surface, and when you see here, this is a surface and this is tangent, so it's in line. Okay, and when you increase it, it goes away. Look, this is how my ruled surface is working. Let's say I want it here. This is tangent. Okay, let's say I want it here. Okay, now I'm increasing it. Also here, all the sides. Now I'm increasing it. Look, this is increasing uniformly, but let's say this is only 20 and I don't want this edge. I also don't want this edge. Now what is happening? Look, it's still increasing. Again, that's alright. I don't want this edge. See, no, 50 is not working over here. 13 or 20 is working. Let's say I don't want this edge and I want only this edge. So how far it is working? It's working quite far, but we'll see these options later on. This is tangent to surface. Now I don't want tangent, I want normal to surface. Look, now it becomes normal. Now again I want normal here and I will increase it. Look, it is it is normal, it is increasing. Let's say I don't want here, I just want it over here, and it is increasing. It is no limits of increasing. Sometimes due to the geometry it produces very weird results, but that's alright, and this is very much normal. So here, what I'm doing, I'm making a box, a kind of small box with a different design, and this is done. This is options trim and knit. When you close this thing, now this knit and connecting surface, I'll show you the option trim and knit. I made it okay. When I made it okay, look, I made a box, very simple, but this is surface, not solid, but that's alright. Now what is trim and knit? I click here, and when I make a fillet over here, I can see the fillet. Which means this is already knit. Okay, and here you can see surface 1, and here you can see surface 2. Okay, but when I go to this feature, edit feature, and when I remove this trim and knit, okay, then what I can see is, look, there are many surfaces now. This is surface 1, this becomes 2, this becomes 3. Individual surfaces are seen, And now when I use fillet, it won't allow me to use the fillet. Nothing is happening because this should be knit. So you get a direct option in rule surface when you edit the feature, trim and knit. So directly it knits the all the surface, and you can use this as a box. Now what I want to do is, I want to use an option called offset. So before using the offset, I will use the thicken. So when I click here, thicken, now what happens is, this is just a surface. Okay, now I want to select this surface. It shows like, look, thicken from which side? This is 10 millimeters. This is from the outside, thicken side 1, which means here it shows when you zoom in, blue line, black line, yellow line. Okay, now when you click on the center, both the sides, thickness from both the sides. You can add thickness actually and then make the surface solid. So this is the option to make surfaces solids, and only from the inside. So where you want to increase it? I want to make only from the outside. Okay, I don't want 10 millimeters, I just want 2 millimeters. Okay, so when you zoom closely and make it okay, you're adding thickness, and yes, your thickness is done. But again the bottom part is your this thing surface. So here also you need to thicken it, whereas if you zoom in, that's okay. Now this should be thickened from inside. This is what I feel, not from the outside. So just increase it. Okay, this is your plane. I just want it 2 millimeters. Enter. From it, this is from both the sides, this is only from the outside. I want it from inside, so here, and okay. It shows some errors. Now what errors it shows and how to solve the errors. You can see, because it was not made in a single slot. So close this thing and open this thicken edit feature, and this was also select this. This is ruled surface. You need to select this thing. If not, you can select it later on, that's also okay. So this is thicken, and here you can select it from outside if it is not allowing you from inside. 2 millimeters from outside. Also the edges later on, a step will become, yes, there will be a step, and then after this thing is thicken. So these are some kind of design challenges. Again you need to use the option thicken for this, or else if this is solid, again you can fill this is anyhow, that's okay. Now it's time to do offset. Let us see whether the offset works over here. This is my offset, and I don't want 10, I want it over here somewhere. Okay, or I want to close this thing. Okay, look, I use the option offset, and this is done. So making such kind of boxes is very simple with the help of surfaces, because if you make through solid, you need to make a box and then you extrude it, then you make a shell, and finally with the help of dimensions, you need to check the dimensions, or there are different variable options. But definitely if you go for surfaces, what I feel is it would be very simple, because this is the direct option offset, you get it from here. Now what you say is delete face. Okay, how to delete something? Click here, just click here. There are 3 types of delete and patch, delete and fill. So normal, I use generally this option for delete something. Delete, yes, I want to delete this face. Click here. Okay, if not, let us try this face. Okay, look, that face has been deleted and only the outer boundary is remaining. Now again, I want to delete this. Click here, delete face, make it okay. Look, this went away. Okay, in this way you can delete the face. Now the option replace face. So the option replace face is actually quite good for me. I love the option replace face. This option is sometimes very much useful to me. Now this was made in front plane. Okay, and let's say this is my top plane, this is my right plane, and I want to make something in top plane. Okay, so let us start drawing something. I will draw a sketch, a spline, and I will draw such kind of spline over here. Zoom in like this, and spline. And now where I have drawn it, very far. I don't think so this is useful to me. Back, and then I will delete the sketch. Yes, that was never useful to me. This is made in front plane. Okay, I want to make something in top plane. This is my top plane. Or else what I can do is I can make something in right plane. This is better for me. Okay, if I'm making anything in right plane, such kind of curvatures, okay, and end spline. Let's see whether this thing works or not, since I've made a spline. Okay, and now what I want to do is in the surface I will extrude this surface. Let's say I'm extruding over here, and also in the direction 2 little bit, like this. And let's say this is okay. What if I do replace face? I want to replace this face with this face. Let's see. Okay, it shows some errors, so I cannot replace this face. This I should delete. And here this face, let us try again. Look, I am able to replace it with this kind of thing, but it's not very much proper. So in this case what I'll do is I'll delete this replace face. Let us make similar kind of thing over here in order for you to understand. This is surface extrude which I am deleting. Delete, yes. Also delete the sketch, delete, yes. Now this is the normal thicken, this is the surface. So if this is thicken, that's okay. Now let's see, this was made in front plane, and then I want the top plane. I want the top plane to for my. Now let us see whether what can be done with this and spline. And then now extrude
surface, extrude, yeah, and I will extrude in both the sides as usual. This is done, extruding. Okay, now replace face. I'm replacing this face with this face. Okay, it shows some errors. Why this is showing some errors? Close this thing and see why are the errors over here. As you can see, there are some faces. You need to delete the face, and these are the faces. Delete. Yes. And when you zoom in, this is a face you need to delete. Yes. Again, when you come here, these are the face you need to delete. Yes. And since now all the faces are deleted, again try replace face. Replace this face with this face. Look, I am trying to replace the face and replace has been done, but because this was this surface, so it had some problems. Now let us say if I want to replace this with this, whether it is possible. Replace this with this. No, delete here, replace. Not possible. It should be on the same side. What if I delete the complete thing, delete the thing, and then again I will start to draw something which is very easy to understand. I will draw a sketch. Yeah, a normal sketch. This is my normal sketch, and features extrude in solids. This is I'm extruding. Okay, so normal kind of pyramid kind of structure is done. This was made in front plane, and now in top plane, not in top plane, in right plane, I'll make something in right plane, or else in top. This is front plane. Let us say I'll make in front plane itself. Sketch, same thing, same kind of profile I want to make. This is same profile and spline, and then surface is extrude. Okay, extrude here, also extrude here. This is done. Okay, now let us see replace face. This with this, wrong. This should be delete, and here with this. Hope for the best. Again, it is not replacing because of some errors. Now the errors is when you click on this sketch, this edge is wrong. This should be somewhere like this, and this should be, say, like this. Okay, and this should be still on the upward side. Now let's try whether this thing works or not. Okay, more number of curvatures are there. Replace this face with this face. Still it is producing some errors. Close, and here I want to do a simple kind of structure, very simple structure. Now let's see whether this is possible or not. And one more thing over here is I'll make this thing shorter. Yeah, and then we'll try with replace face. Replace this with this. Okay, now see, this is done. Because of this curvatures it was not taking, and now here the extra surface I will right click and then properly right click and then hide. When I make it hide, look, this has taken the surface and the replace face is done. This is one of my favorite feature and really it works. So this is not only restricted to the flat surfaces, but also when you make, you know, some kind of cylinders over here and extrude it, you know, and after extruding, you know, if you want to, this is made in the front plane. Now top and right, if you make anything in the top plane, let's say a line, earlier we did something different. Here if you make some linings over here like this, yeah, and then right click and chain and then try to extrude it in, no need in both the direction, not needed, but still if you want to go for, yeah, okay, and such kind of shapes if you want in this. Then let us try this. Replace face also works here. Replace this with this face. Okay, it shows some error again because of the curvatures and all. Here, like what you can see is this normal cylinder, and then when you select replace, you need to select the top face, this face, and here this is called as the target faces for replacement, and this is called as replacement surfaces. So here this is the replacement surface, and then after selecting both the things you need to make OK, and look, it sticks to this. When it sticks to this, look what you get is, after hiding this, look, this kind of thing you get. So making this kind of thing was like, you need to make a plane, and then on the plane you need to make a rectangle, and then rectangle extrude cut, and extrude cut up to which point, you know, you need to do this much method. But here if you do such kind of structures or shapes or splines or anything, then it is very easy for you to make such structures. So it is not only restricted to flat surfaces but also to curved surfaces. Curved surfaces can also be made. So in surfaces, what you saw today is like all these features up till all these features, knit and thicken. Now there are a few features still left which will be covered in the next clip. So the surfaces, what I say is, they are never away from the solids, both are one and the same, except few things you need to keep in mind.